All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. The honors go out to our apostles, Elders Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. Shalom Barakim to you brothers and sisters out there. All right, this is Brother Malachi from the Great Millstone Nashville Camp, and Lord willing that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. But I got the word up here on the Edamon, edamonline.com, or also they got an app, which is what I'm on. But I got the word up here, difficult. All right, it says not easy, requiring, or dependent on effort, troublesome, arduous, I believe is how you say that. So the reason why I got this word pulled up, which ultimately represents, the straight gate, our walk, being in this truth, but it's because it was something I was thinking about earlier today that, it's really the things that, well, speaking personally, the things that I go through really ain't shit. It really ain't. Because like Apostle Gabar had said, there's somebody out there going through worse. A brother out there going through worse, and he ain't saying nothing about it. And then just, because really in the moment, it's easy to be upset and irritated, especially when it's like a chain of things, like multiple things that just happen in a short period of time. It's like, oh my fucking goodness. So it's like, what the hell? But once you calm down and you look at it in retrospect, it's like, bro, this really wasn't that serious. There really ain't nothing going on. All right, either you've been through worse, or you're gonna end up going through worse down the road, or it's just you're like, well, the Lord's gonna take care of it, or it's like at the end of the day, you're not dead, okay, you're not homeless, you're not destitute, so it's like, what's the problem? It's really not that bad. It's uncomfortable. It's irritating. But it's necessary. That's the thing. It's always necessary. It's not... because if it was up to us... Because we got to be honest with ourselves. If it was up to us as individuals, we would never go through uncomfortable situations. You would never have car problems or body ailments or woman problems or financial problems or demons messing with you. You would never pick the hard route. Right? You would never pick the difficulty. Which means that you would never grow. Which is why it's good that Yahweh Bashmel Shai controls all things. Because if it were up to us, we would never grow. If it was up to us, we would always be comfortable. We'd always have a good time. We would never actually gain any qualities or characteristics. And Tawadi Yahweh Bashmel Shai for that. But I wanted to go into, really just, in general. I'm not even going to necessarily lay a topic down, but I was meditating on how it is going to get a lot harder. And it already is. It's already getting harder. Mentally, first and foremost, that's really where it's getting harder. Because it might not even be super extreme situations, but your mind, you just feel like it's just getting worn the hell down. That's what a war does to you. Being in this a spiritual war. The every year that goes by, it just seems like your mind gets grinded up more and more. Kind of like what's the term you use with rocks? Corrosion. Is that it? I know it deals with metal. Yeah, it's still corrosion. That's how it feels with your mind. Which ultimately that's not really how it is, because our minds are getting stronger. Okay, but like the scriptures also say, though, that Esau is wearing down the saints. Wearing out the saints. He's tiring us. He's having us make bricks without straw. Mentally we're tired. We're so exhausted and tired of this place. But we just have to endure. And let me grab this first, because it's always a scripture that we need to meditate upon. Matthew chapter 24, verse 13. It says, "But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." Now this in red. That means Yahushua spoke these words. All right, he that shall endure. So endure basically goes into remaining in existence. So what the Lord requires of us is to make it from point A to point B. He doesn't care how you do it in righteousness, of course. He doesn't care how you do it as long as you get there. All right, you don't need to smile. You don't need to laugh. You don't need to... No, just make it to the end. Meaning don't quit. Which, if you truly have faith and fear in the Lord, you're not going to quit. Because you know that if you take your hands off that plow, you're a dead man walking. That's treason, which is punishable by death. You're going to be beaten with many stripes. Or I believe that's in Luke 12, if I'm not mistaken. You're worse off than... You're worse off than somebody in the world. So you might as well continue. What's the point in giving up and quitting? There's no point. Doesn't make any sense to give up. Doesn't make any sense to quit. Quit for what? What are you going to go back to? Who are you going to go back to? There ain't nothing. There ain't nobody. So just continue to endure. Continue to fight the war. Maintain your integrity as the prophet Job did. Because that's really how we got to see it, man. Either we go out with honor or dishonor. There's no in between. It's better to die a martyr than to live as a 2/3. Which ultimately, 2/3 are going to die. So it's better to die as a martyr than to die as a 2/3. And you might not even die in this truth. You have a better chance surviving with your spirit in your body in this truth than you do in the world. Just think about that. Regardless if you so-called die or live to the end in this truth, you still win. But you have a better chance at being alive in the truth than you do in the world. Because everybody in the world is going to die. Whether it's during the famine, during the martial law, the hour of temptation, nuclear missiles, whatever it is, eventually they're going to meet their date. Their expiration date is going to come and it's not going to pass. Understand that. So what better place to be than in the secret place, Psalms 91. But I wanted to grab this. And really, it's not to make us ashamed, because venting is something that we all do. There's nothing wrong with talking about it, about the stuff you're going through. There's nothing wrong with being upset and irritated. There's nothing wrong with complaining, right? The scriptures talk about that the righteous will complain continually and that they're vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So complaining, if you're not complaining, then that's a problem. Okay? Now, it's a difference when you're complaining as opposed to just moaning and groaning and, like doing way too much. All right, which I don't personally know somebody that bitches and moans. All right, we all stress about things we're going through. We all complain. We all mention how we're tired of certain things and angry at certain things. But nobody's ever going overboard to where it's like, oh my God, brother, shut the hell up. Nobody's doing that. Okay? Because even before we get to that point, we understand within ourselves, it's like, all right, bro, like, you vented, now just shut up and endure it. Because brothers, already going through their shit and On top of that, not only that, but you talking about it is just making it worse on yourself because it's really not that serious. You're making it worse than what it is. And that's especially, you know, first, speaking to myself, I really need to shut the hell up more. Because a lot of times the shit really don't be that deep. Now, you don't want to be silent because you do want to keep brothers updated on your situation. Just so there's no miscommunication, just so there's no surprise. But, you know, me personally, I'm just gonna start being more quiet, man. Because it's just, I mean, first of all, it really just makes it worse. Because with me, like what I really am starting to understand is better for me and my walk is assessing the situation, figuring out a solution, and dropping it. When I just constantly talk about it or keep meditating on it, or it's just prolonging, you know, the initial suffering of the thought process, and it's not worth it. Because a lot of this shit really don't be that fucking serious. It don't be that deep. A lot of this shit we've already been through before, just different category of it or a different level of it. You're going to live to see another day. You're not going to die. So 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16 to 18. It says, "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." So like I mentioned, first of all, it said our outward man perish, right? This flesh is weak as hell. Okay, but it says the inward man is renewed day by day. Every day our spirit is renewed through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment. So, meaning it's, first of all, it's not even that heavy of an affliction. Look at what Yahweh Shai went through. He would switch lots with you in terms of hell any chance he could. Not in a bad way. I'm saying in the sense of who wouldn't? Would you rather go through what he went through or go through what you're going through? I'm not saying he would literally switch with you. I'm saying if he had to choose, if he was given the choice, obviously he would rather do what we're doing. He'd rather clock in, bro, than get crucified and tortured. He would rather deal with car problems than get the cat tails ripped into his rib cage. He'd rather deal with a woman bickering at 8 o'clock at night than get a crown of thorns shoved on his head. Yahweh Shai's sufferings were a billion times worse. But he endured that for us, so we can't endure these small things for him. You know, but like I said, it's a light affliction, and not only that, it says, which is but for a moment. So it's not even going to last that long. So we just gotta, bro. This is a war, but we're winning the war. We just need to continue to fight, and it's gonna get harder. It's the climax of the movie, but who gives a fuck? We're already here. We're already here. If you've ever been on a roller coaster, once them belts, you got the seat belt in, and once that arm bar shit come down, and you're going up that mountain, you're sealed. Which we already have been going up that mountain for a while. We're at the top. We're nearing the top. And pretty soon we're going to reach the pinnacle. And then we're going to hang over and then drop. You can't get off now. You're here. And you shouldn't want to get off now. You've already been fucked up this whole time. Why not get the reward? Why not finish and see it out to the end? Which, understand this too. I'm going to grab this. The hell that we catch, it ain't supposed to be fun. All right? There's no growth in fun. You don't grow when you're having fun. You grow when you're fucked up. That's the reality of it. It sucks, but it is what it is. Who gives a fuck? Revelations 12 and 11. Or Salaki, Hebrews 12 and 11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. So it's not fun, right? And the Lord doesn't expect you to have a good time when you're catching hell, but it's profitable. All right, it's very beneficial unto you. Sirach chapter 2 and verse 4 to 5. I'll read down to Sirach chapter 4, Sirach chapter 2 verse 4 to 8. I'll probably close out here. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold, and which that's another thing. Understand, it's not just you, it's the whole nation of Israel, starting with the elect. The brothers and sisters out there that are in this truth, they're all in a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. So we just got to continue to have faith and trust in Yahweh Shemel Shai. Micah 7 and 9. We put ourselves in this predicament. We just got to go, man. It's really, whatever you're going through, I don't know what you're going through. Hell, sometimes I barely know what I'm going through. Because you'll be going through a situation, but it's deeper than that. And a lot of times we don't understand the bigger picture. Because we're so caught up in the emotions and the irritation of it that we're not actually analyzing the lesson that's at hand. And we're only thinking about comfortability. But it could be way worse. And it will get way worse. But as we continue to level up in the spirit and the challenges level up, that's the thing. Like it's going to get worse, but we're going to have the tools to be able to get over it, right? 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, I believe it is. Lord ain't going to put you in a situation you can't handle. Every situation you've been put in thus far, you've been able to handle. So why would it be any different tomorrow? Or next week or next year? All right, so Lord, when that this lesson was edifying, before I close, I'm going to say, Kahala, Yahweh Shemel Shai, Ba'ashem Rachah Kudash, the Apostle, Elder Gray Millstone, Shalom.